And now, coming to you from the Pensado Media Center, powered by Westlake Pro.
West Coast royalty in the house, watch and learn. The judging begins on the Indaba contest. Get to Blackbird for the live class in October and a new ITL from Dave's vocal series. We are chock full. You're at the place. It's Pensado's place.
Yeah. Hey everybody, thanks for dropping by. I don't know why, but every time you guys drop in, I'm giggling and we're laughing. We should probably share with them one day what we're doing.
They probably won't think
Herb
it's
has
funny.
no pants on.
So,
but man, what a day for me. This is going to be a good day for me.
I was wanting to see your segue out of that. That was pretty good.
No,
That's pretty good.
Our guest who
we got a full house. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Very inspirational.
Shall we get to it?
Something I needed, yes.
Let's do it. Hey, family, Trust Your Week in Audio was a good one. Thanks for the continued likes and subscribes. Those are very important. Equally important, our incredible partners. The Blackbird Academy, Westlake Pro, Avid, DTS, Lander, Fab Factory, Recording Connection, and Studio 202 DC. Ron. When did we start doing that?
I don't know.
All right, so let me go off topic for a second.
Okay.
Our thesis...
Again, you mean?
Yeah, I never am on topic. Our thesis is essentially audio's everywhere, and that means that our audience and the aficionados of audio really have much broader job prospects. So
absolutely,
I watch all kinds of bizarre reality television.
But not for that reason. You just are addicted to that stuff.
Yeah, that's true. But when I find an audio nugget, I try to snatch it.
Okay, good.
So one of the things I watch is Deadliest Catch.
Okay.
So I can tell you about crab catching, pots, setting gear, offloading, all that kind of stuff. It's just fascinating because it's ambitious work. So what they introduced on yesterday's show that I watched is an audio crab caller. And they if you think about it, think about the logic. So they put them in the pots. These things drop hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feet. And they recreated the sound of a feeding frenzy, which brings crabs to the thing, and they crawl in looking for the food. Now, the thing that they got wrong was the capsule wasn't waterproof enough, but the technology works. Now, somebody took an audio context in a way, and mind you, these guys on ships will work 6 weeks and make $50,000. It's a big business, but it's a very dangerous business. But literally, they're looking at audio technology in a way.
That's pretty cool.
Because I mean, they come back from a haul and they've made $1.5 million. They've made.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's a big business. That's why it's one of the most popular shows on television. It's insane. So now this technology. So if you want to fish and you want to combine your love for audio, we can find a way for you to do that.
That's real cool. Good call, man.
Pretty cool.
Real good stuff.
Speaking of making a living in audio, the incredible Blackbird Academy, you know how we feel about them, amongst other schools, but for them for sure. If you ever dreamed about a job in audio, you should think about the live side. Just take a step back from concerts, festivals, clubs, big and small, sporting events, indoors and out, conferences. You could work for a live manufacturer, for a Yamaha or something like that, and the list goes on and on and on. But what you have to do is you have to learn the craft and need to learn it in a way where it's hands-on. No better place than the Blackbird Academy Live School.
Great.
No better place. Let me tell you why. So John McBride started out as an audio engineer doing live sound. He continues to do live sound. He created and sold a live sound company. He rents gear for live events. When I tell you the Blackbird Academy knows live, they know live. And if you sign up and go down there, take the course, you're gonna know live. I'm giving it to you way in advance. Classes don't start till October 2nd, so you have plenty of time to check it out, do some research, see if it works for you. Easy way to do it. Go to karma@theblackbirdacademy.com and get the info. There are jobs and dinero in live, gang.
Absolutely.
Get to Karma and find out. It's good stuff. Yes, sir.
Going back to crabs.
Yeah. Yes.
I want to compliment myself on not blurting out some kind of cheap joke about crabs during your segment.
I was prayerful that you wouldn't.
Okay, good. Let's move on.
By the way, the editor is on speed dial underneath here, so you can burn it out. It ain't gonna make
I'm
the show.
maturing, Herb.
You are. It's HR maturation.
You've seen this maturing over the last few weeks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no question about it. We'll keep that between us.
Okay.
And what's coming up in your mature phase is the judging part of the Indaba contest.
You know I love that.
It's coming to you in the next week or so.
I can't wait.
So you're ready to put your 10-point system on it?
100%.
Yeah, it's what you guys should know is how much Dave enjoys this. So your stuff is being listened to by lots of great ears, and then finally by his ears. It's going to be good stuff. Officially, you have now, like from now to early July to judge. We'll announce the winners on July 19th. And all that kind of cool gear you've been seeing is potentially yours, grand prize winner, and the first and second runner-up. So, good stuff there. Real quickly, our man Chongor hit me this morning, and he's out with a sick pet. So, but in honor of his pet, I thought we would just do the intro anyway. Should we do it?
Let's do it.
All right. So, he is the...
And you should do something with a lot of H's, too.
Of course.
In memoriam.
No, the cat's alive.
Oh, he's alive, okay.
See, man, damn, you went there so quickly. You didn't get, Simba's good.
Okay.
So I should do it with H's?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Let me come up with something. He's the hopeful Hungarian who's hanging at the Horsey Hospital. His mama named him John Gore. Oh, look, he's not there. He's not there. So
they can't tell.
So, yes, they can't. So anyways, he called me this morning. Chongor has a number of pets. He is really concerned about it. I got an update just before, so apparently everything's going to be okay. Simba is, manning up, and he's going to be okay. And I think Chongor's going to try to get here, but in the interim, he took care of business, and we let him off the production. And our crack staff has stepped in admirably, don't you think?
They always do.
Very good stuff. Love the ITL last week.
Me too.
It's from your vocal series. It's it's recording vocals with Dave Pensado, right? It's available at groove3.com. But it's something that you put your passion into and a lot of expertise. Let's run another one from that series. What do you have this week?
Compression as I use it with vocals.
Do you use it differently than most people use it?
I think I do, but if not, it's really cool what I do.
All right, let's roll it.
Let's check it out. A lot of times the conundrum is, do you record your compressors and your equalizers to tape or into Pro Tools or into your DAW, or do you record it flat without anything and then add those later? I'm a firm believer in commitment. I really believe that if you're not ready to commit, you're not ready to record. So I might use a gentle compression going into the DAW or into my tape machine. From now on, I'm just going to call everything tape. Okay, stay with me. So if I'm going to do that, record the tape, I'm probably going to use a more gentle type of compression. Now, back in the day, we had to use a compression going to tape, to real tape, because if we didn't get the signal loud enough, and then we turn that signal up, we're not only turning the signal we recorded, we're turning up all the background noise that the tape itself generated, and we call that hiss. So it was very important to record everything as loud as possible to tape. Now, in the digital world, we thought that if you don't record loud enough, you don't get efficient use of all the bits. So if you recorded kind of low in a 24-bit word, you might only get 16 bits. Don't worry about that. Just don't worry about it. So having said all that, I like to take a very small ratio, 2-to-1, 3-to-1 at the most, and a slow attack time, and then I set the release time based on the tempo. And I'm very careful to make sure that I can't hear the compressor working. Now, in the digital world, you can do both. You can record one through the compressor, just make sure that your commitment was okay, and you record one without it. 1176s are like the granddaddy of them all. The newer one, like I said, is a CL1B Tube Tech. Some other compressors I like are the 2044 by Avalon. But there's some great compressors. I'm using one called the Locomotive that I like a lot, 14B, and just a great sounding vocal compressor. Shadow Hills makes some great ones. And don't be afraid to use plugins as you record. You've got to be careful for latency and things like that, but lots and lots and lots of my friends record in Pro Tools and don't have any problems. So compression is a very good tool. I tend to use more of it in the mixing part of the process than the recording part of the process. But sometimes you want to hear how it's going to sit in the mix. And so I like a little bit of gentle compression. And I like to hear the coloration that I can get with various types of compressors. Now in the plug-in world, God, there's so many. The Klanghelm MJUC, I love that. I love the U73B. I like those compressors. The UAD style compressors, 1176s, those are all great. Waves make some great ones. Man, it's just hard to find a bad plug-in compressor. So compression is your friend. It has a use. It's hard to anticipate exactly what style compression you need and want until you put the song in the track itself. So try and give yourself as good a rough mix as you can, and that'll help you get closer to your goals on the compression.
When you hear our guest's name, it's two words that are synonymous with hits, history, respect, and talent. He is a longtime friend and colleague. You've heard of him. We get a chance to talk to him. We finally got him here. Welcome to the place, the one, the only DJ Battlecat. My man, what's happening, Cat?
Oh man, it's such a pleasure to have you here. Come on, man.
No, man. Yeah. No.
Wow.
The fascinating part about, now that we've spent some time in the business, right?
Yes.
You get a chance to get a little retrospective about who you know, what parts of the game you watched develop. You didn't even know they were developing at the time, how important it is in the culture. Like you and the West Coast and the development of hip hop is synonymous. Like you have been there at the beginning for a lot of it, right?
Yes, definitely. And I'm just glad to have everyone take notice of such a journey.
Yeah.
You know? It hasn't been an easy one, but I'm glad that everything about it was worth it.
The thing that I, because as long as we've known you,
yes.
I mean, there's associations with Snoop and Exhibit and The Game and a whole bunch of other stuff, but you also did Brian McKnight and other things with me.
Yes,
but
R&B.
But the thing that Dave and I always knew about you is when you bring up Battlecat's name to other people, right? It's there's sort of a pause.
Oh yeah.
Right, like Battlecat. You know what I mean? Was he posing?
Either that or he went Calvin Klein on us. I don't know. One of the two.
But like certain people engender respect.
100%. 100%. I mean, I was blessed to do a lot of work with Cat, and he clearly is the architect of a sound that became very popular and still should be getting commission off of what's going on today.
Thank you, brother
because
Dave.
It's a direct lineage of
my new assistant
you
manager.
and a lot of cats. I mean, I was looking at the 30 greatest G-Funk songs of all time.
Ridiculous.
Of which Domino Ghetto Jam's in there.
Yes.
And it just reminded me of just how inspirational he was. I was nervous. He and I were talking earlier, and I was nervous first time I worked with him. I didn't know what to expect, and I don't think I've ever run across a finer human being, an example of what a good Christian should be, an example of what a good musician should be. And it was humbling. I took more than just musical things away from that experience with him.
And that's the last.
How to be a pro.
And that's the last compliment of the day that you're getting. So now we get to the real stuff. No, but
I'm flabbergasted, but I mean, man.
Well, man, you made all these contributions.
Wow, I couldn't have done it without people exactly like him and yourself, and it's crazy, man, because I always wanted to have a big brother and uncles in the journey of my experience of music, and I finally got you guys here, and this is the perfect place to celebrate it.
You have so many people. Look, what you guys don't know is when we walked in before, it was in the green room, the first thing Battlecat did was introduce me to his homeboy who was with him for the beginning of the ride. That's where he started with. And the next thing was to introduce me to his dad.
Yeah, foundation.
And that is a point that I think is important for our audience to know, that you're going to do better creatively if you're better up in here.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
If you're better up in here,
Yes.
it comes out better there.
Yes.
And so more successful people we know that eventually you got to get this right.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
I think it comes through in your music.
Yes.
Do you think?
Yes.
Like when you can touch into that passion is just, because the thing about your music is it's always had a signature and a heart to it. Like it banged, but with care, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like, right? Like it was hood.
Yeah, definitely.
But it was hood with heart somehow.
Yes.
What were some of the early things you were listening to that produced what Herb's talking about?
As far as melodic and soul and groove, Jimi Hendrix and the band The Gypsies was one. And Eddie Kendricks is one. Definitely, I have a heavy influence of funk from a variety of people. We're talking about Brass Construction, James Brown, George Clinton, George Duke, and Earth, Wind & Fire, just to name a few.
Reach for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those were influences early.
Yes.
And then what started the producing thing? Was it a piece of gear? Was it your just interest? How did that start and come about?
A combination of both. My foundation is drums and percussion. I owe that to my mom and my father. They both are musicians in their own way. My father plays flute and is a vocalist, and my mother plays piano and she's a vocalist. But she's real savvy with percussions like tamarines and things of that nature. You know, on my upbringing in church. So, but what led into the production lane and journey and passion for that is when the later years of I say 81, 82, you know, hip hop emerged. And once I got a chance to see drum machines, that was the next door neighbor of musicianship, I would say, that didn't totally void out the musician guys or women of music. I got familiar with the drum machine, and that did a lot for me to craft my drum skills into the art of programming. So I'm instead of playing 5 things at once, you know, from a trap set, I'm taking my time in programming each individual instrument by one. So once that took its course, I think my first opportunity to do drum programming was for the group called Club Nouveau.
Oh, really?
And me and a unique gentleman named Richie Rich from the LA Dream Team in LA.
Sure.
He gave me opportunity to do some drum programming for the group, and just led me into a first recording studio. We're talking about Los Angeles Paramount Recording Studio.
Oh, wow.
And once I started seeing how musicians was respecting this thing called the drum machine and the art of programming, I would look at the track sheet, and the track sheet said producer. And I said, you know, well, I looked at the name, and it's who I'm producing. And once I seen the body language and the respect and the experience of it, I wanted to get more deeper into it. And so I found myself going next door to Nadine's and earning a pretty piece of penny, and got my first sampling drum machine, and it's been on ever since.
And as you discovered the drum machine, what it seems evident when you listen to it is you discovered it as a tool that you utilized to get your vision out, as opposed to it utilizing you. Like it feel.
Yes.
You respected the drummer.
Yes.
And used the technology.
Yes.
Was that fair?
I had to combine them both because the drums were still present in my garage. My mother bought me my second set of drums. My dad bought my first one. Thank you, Dad. And
thanks, Dad.
He's here with us right now.
Absolutely.
He's been
That's
the
a blessing.
DNA and backdrop to my drive, as well as my mother and other family members. But it was important to me because the sound, the acoustic sound, or it just being in a public place, I could appreciate the sound. So I would find myself sampling my own drums as well as vinyl, master compositions. You know, and once I seen that I was limited with this drum machine. We can only sample for 10 seconds, and we're talking about mono, not stereo, and we're talking about at a lower frequency that people couldn't begin to appreciate hearing the evolution of hip hop emerging. So, but just my passion for having a decent wired piece of stereo equipment.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that it was clarity with my passion and me sampling, because I wanted the same sound that I heard on wax, but the best that I got out of it was good for me. It had a grungier sound, so I knew eventually I was going to have to incorporate more instrumentation, like a keyboard. So between my uncle and cousins and my mother, I adopted piano along with sampling and drums, which furthered my ear and drive and understanding the natural sound of an instrument. How could I incorporate it? How could I sustain the sound? How could I get just as close as possible?
Since I've known you, you've always demanded that the quality of the sound that you were trying to get to come out of the speakers was as good as it could be, and it actually became a signature in a way, and you departed a little bit from the traditional sound, and you were fearless. I remember days when I'd say, "Hey man, this needs to be a little uglier," and you go, "No, it needs to be the way it is, Dave." And you always had a clear vision of what you wanted and how you were going to do it, to the point where you became a really good engineer, and still are.
That helped me a lot, knowing that people could appreciate my ear, and to the fact that it was satisfaction to women. And I lived the majority of my life with my grandmother, rest in peace, and my mother, who's still here. So between going back and forth and seeing my dad and my mother, I got a chance to appreciate both of their passion and ears and selection of records and composition. You know, now I understand that that's what it is now, but it did something for me to keep the integrity of that, and it was a such thing in the earlier days of hip hop where you couldn't sound like the next man. You had to have your own identity. Copying someone else's style is a no-no. And I learned that as well as even dressing the same, you know, not dressing the same. My mother used to dress us as twins, but only thing was the difference was me and my brother, you know, he's light-skinned, a little light-skinned, and I'm dark-skinned, but we needed something that had its own identity and character, so I definitely knew that was important coming up, because I had my big brothers before me doing the music, and we talking about Egyptian Lover, Dr. Dre, DJ Poop, and DJ Slep. And those guys eventually had a major effect on my decision to become a great hip-hop producer before having an opportunity to produce real singers in R&B. But I always have kept the drive and passion for singers and the other genres of music with me, because my mother had me in the church, so I got a chance to appreciate the art of songwriting and melody and harmonies.
Hooks, stuff like that.
Yeah, so that played a major role.
It seemed to me, I'm sorry, go ahead. It seemed to me that you combined the two.
Yes.
That sensibility about melody and singers and how to capture a vocal. When you go into your hip hop space, you can take parts of that and make it apply. And
it was no rules. It was no limitation with it, because at that time the industry wasn't structured behind hip hop. You know, and
it was Wild Wild West.
It was just Wild Wild West, and I loved the fact that existed, but it still needed some guidance. So later through my career, I got that by having an opportunity to work with Dave and others like Danny Clay Williams, Rob Sorelli, and just to name a few, you know, who was instrumental in my life and showing me that what I was doing was great, but you could take it a little further and broaden your sound by one day purchasing or coming by and having an opportunity to learn the board that I'm putting my sound into. So I had a chance to appreciate analog and acoustic for a long time before the digital world.
You were always curious.
Came across. So I think that's an advantage that I had becoming DJ or, the producer Battlecat.
This is a silly question, but what did you first think the first time you heard an 808? You know what I'm thinking?
Electrifying, for one.
I bet.
Because I was a dancer at the time. I was into hip hop and as a pop locker. So
for sure.
for a sound that was dominating and captivating, you would hear, like Dave demonstrated earlier. Dave, give me your example of an 808. Give me your.
Oh, yeah.
You did it earlier.
There was like this big ass drum, this little snare.
So when you hear
Join in, Herb.
so it's crazy. Boom. You know what I'm saying? So we're talking about other frequencies and sounds that really excited me because.
Do we just act like instruments?
Oh yeah.
On there? Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Come on, I thought it was the human factor
what we do.
first before anything.
Always.
You feel me?
Hell yeah. Absolutely.
That part. It did a lot for me. It's two groups that really I fell in love with the electric sound of 808 and the captivating sound of the 808 boom, the kick drum, is Loose Ends and Kraftwerk.
European groups.
Yeah, both European groups. And
They weren't afraid. We were talking earlier about how they weren't afraid to use those before us,
Yes. In a very, very convincing way.
Yeah.
But still with melodic and melodies involved. And that's another thing that made me respect different drum machines, how you could still bring the musical element to something that is so vintage, authentic, but yet necessary.
Yeah, right. So we talk a lot, I'm assuming you agree with this, that you never can go wrong by learning your musical history, pulling from places, seeing what the masters did in the past.
I teach that all the time.
Do you, man?
Yeah, when fans come up to me, they ask me this question, and it would help them not be alienated from our generation if they can embrace that, because a lot of people don't even know what the sound of Los Angeles is of music.
Right.
So I was so grateful to see these different networks put out, like Donnie Simpson had his show, Arsenio had his show, but then here come MTV and Unplug, or a little deeper than that, we got Unsung and different things of that nature that shows the documentary and the whole journey of someone's life. It was important to me that they put this out because it reintroduced life and its creativity and what made this record, or what made you fall in love with the artist like you did. So I was grateful that they showed that these different artists come from this particular city or town or state or country. And so when we started hearing groups like that did Misdemeanor, we're talking about the Silvers, Leon Silvers, or groups like Rolls Royce that was born in Los Angeles. It helped me understand and appreciate what is the sound of Los Angeles.
Sure.
And then you had Solar Records as well that had all those great musicians. So it helped me understand what is my sound in music and how I can continue to pay homage. So I will always have familiar elements or melodies or certain signatures of their great performance and production in my arsenal of music or whatever you want to call it.
Note to audience, you you will get to your future by remembering your past, by observing your past. It's really important. Did you know what Solar stood for?
The Sound of Los Angeles.
Sound of Los Angeles Records.
Yes.
I
learned that later, looking at critics, before hip-hop came.
Oh, yeah.
That's one thing I love about my parents, you know, and them letting me look at the album covers. I was just amazing looking at the culture, the style, the hair,
right?
Everything that was relatable to uncles and aunties and family, and seeing how, what this was about. Even though I didn't see a lot of glitter in church, you know, and afros and different diamond rings, you know.
Sure.
That, of course, we understood that was a gimmick or just a free expression of them and becoming an artist, but it was necessary for me to identify that they are normal people, and love and peace and harmony goes into the art of this thing called music.
It was part of what you experienced, in my view, between your talent, your parents, church, and the street.
Yes,
was
definitely the streets.
Absolutely, was a university of sorts. When I was an executive at Solar, it was an amazing university. The things that we were challenged to do, 60% of them were not records. It was managing Jesse Jackson's presidential campaign. It was unionizing black promoters. It was creating the first movie division. It was, there was as much pressure on us to be musical as it was to think. And I think the same thing happened when you guys came up. Now that you look back at the documentaries that you talked about in the history, and you look at the things that moved you guys, and whether it was the riots back in the day, or economic suppression, or things that you thought were unjust, or police, or just being exciting, or music, or women, or whatever the motivating factors were, Jesus, family, all that stuff were things that were shapers, in my opinion, and they were making this expression that nobody had seen. And then once it hit us, we knew the hits, and then later on we went, oh, wait, this is also significant. Like, they were teaching, and they were, is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's fair to say. Looking at back at my career and listening to the lyrics of the great records I produced, like We Can Freak It. It wasn't about being physically with a female. It was about flipping a situation or freaking it and turning it around to
I got the meaning wrong.
Yeah. Oh, you was freaking?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I didn't know.
Well, it's all good.
Well, from now on, I'll do something different.
You can do a combination of both.
It's okay, Battlecat. He gets it wrong frequently, that particular concept.
But no, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I'm glad I had profound, prolific artists like Corrupt and Domino, which was my first debut hit record. But before then, I did something that was real grungy, grimy, soulful, meaningful, and yet a life changer. It was an album I produced called Banging on Wax that actually brought people who have experienced the suppression of life and not having a father or mother or a family to support them and help them, in their dreams and to create their goals. The Banging on Wax project, with a friend named Tweety Bird and Ronnie Phillips out of Los Angeles and Compton, came to me to put something together. And we actually put this record together at Leon Haywood's studio.
Wow.
And that was amazing to be able to do that in the Crenshaw district.
Sure.
And the album was a life changer because we wanted to find another way that they can express themselves on wax. We knew we had to call it Banging on Wax because we wanted them to battle their differences on wax and to have a different outcome of their differences in life. Come to find out they had a lot in common. They had personality in common. They had likings of food. They had likings of dress code, likings of sense of humor, all kind of things that they found out. And it was a deadly opportunity because everyone came in with pistols and things of that nature, but the music and the passion for wanting to express ourselves this way instead of violently is what brew up an incredible album called Domino. And that album, and the lyrics of these different songs I produce, it helped me to understand a movement, which is significant to what you said about how it was important to think.
Yeah.
And that was important to me as well. And I carried that with me everywhere I went. I wanted to have records that mean something, that say something. And to bring things up to speed, it was a situation where I was with Snoop Dogg and I got a chance to work with him in his group. And I heard maybe like 1 or 2 songs, right? And the gangbang was at an all-time high, all through the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Some people feel like I haven't had a chance to get my opportunity to express my genocide or my worldly way of how I want to captivate the block or your girl and all this madness. But I sent a message out to Snoopy saying that if I couldn't get positive songs and lyrics over my music, that I wanted my music back. I gave him about 10 records.
Was this the East Siders?
Yeah, it's the East Siders. And my management said, if you could have seen the expression on Snoop Dogg's face, it was priceless. And all he thought about was me taking the music from him when he really needed it, because at the time, Dre was doing something different and didn't have the time to be instrumental in his good friend / artist, career.
Right.
And I was able to be the next man to help navigate his greatness and my greatness. So I got a chance to finally see him. He welcomed me, but he was really trying to check out my persona and my spirit and my character. He sat me down and he pushed play, and then the whole record was over with. I had a couple of tears in my eyes with a grin.
Sure.
And he said, "Cat, is that positive enough for you?" And I was like, yes, because I didn't want to be categorized as a gangbang funk lord of music.
Right.
Not when I grew up on all these greats from gospel to jazz, Steely Dan, the Clarks, James Cleveland, the Mighty Clouds of Joy, all this great music that I grew up on, and actually saw some of them through my upbringing as a kid and to a grown man. How could I be pigeonholed like this? I don't want that, So when I start spreading my good, positive energy and kind of like the man's do my music, it paid off, and it opened doors for R&B greats to come and join me as well.
We're one of them. We're one. And I mean, Dave is this way, which I always admire in him. Both of you, and hopefully occasionally I do too, you got to stand for something or you fall for anything.
Yes, yes. And that was important to me.
Pretty strong.
That was important, Dave.
Sometimes, but
because we had the LA riot, and I experienced that.
Yeah.
And I feel bad, because I was out there too with it, and I'm glad I didn't suffer behind it, but the music and becoming a great person helped me be an infectious producer. What a cause,
Let me ask you a question from our Facebook audience. Galen Baker. Yeah, he said, is there a piece of advice that you cherish the most, and who did it come from?
My father. My father told me in the
If
time.
you'd have answered any other way, I was just going to tackle
Oh,
you.
no, I ain't mad at you.
Because I knew you were going to say that, absolutely.
No, not because he's here, but I'm so glad that he is here, and I'm glad he instilled this in me. It was one day in my career, I was moving 100 miles per hour, Dave. Money coming through, all these materialistic things, and dropping names and things of that nature. My dad said to me, man, that's fine, that you are able to finally be in the room with greatness, but never forget family. And what happened is that my dad never stopped loving music and wanted to be in it himself. And we had another member, which is my brother Mike Straw. He was a developing, inspiring artist himself. Motivated and inspired by his big brother. And I had to realize that it was someone other than just me that is destined to come. I even have a lovely sister who haven't utilized her voice as much, but that will soon happen. But he let me know the importance that's fine that you have a musical family, but in this business it's not the same, and they don't understand your struggle and who you are as a person. So then I started to rethink things in a logic or just common sense way. Like, okay, well, they don't know who Kevin Gilliam is. They know Battlecat. Battlecat is a brand name. So, it's the brand. Now, help the people understand who Kevin is. Take some of the shine and put it on Kevin as well.
Right.
But how I do that is showing them who the human being is behind the brand. And so it just worked out for me.
Oh, yeah.
We're just being
Part
schooled.
2, I had part 1 earlier today.
All right, earlier, right?
Kat, we were talking, I don't know if you're comfortable mentioning a name, but we were talking about how you relate to some of the artists that are out there now and how you school them a little bit, and I use that word respectfully.
Yeah.
Bring them into quality, bring them into not just being a beat maker, but making music. Yes. Describe to Herb a little bit how you've been working with a couple of people like that.
I'll try to make that short and sweet. I got a call from a gentleman who his name is he's known as YG, Compton, California, and he wanted to come and get the original guy of a song that was inspired by other producers that are my proteges or whatnot. And that's Lorenz Dobson and Terrace Martin. They actually did Twist My Finger. And it's a sound that I'm known for because I push the line, I push the envelope with funk.
Yeah.
So cold that anytime that sound comes up, they're gonna only have either 2 or 3 people in mind. But this particular style is a shadow of Battlecat,
right? And
I'm honored by it, and can appreciate the fact that they had me in mind when those kind of songs are produced, because I was inspired. So when I came in to meet the gentleman and his family of music managers and different friends that was in the studio, he had some things he wanted to express, and he said he didn't want to be produced. He didn't want to make music the way he's been making it and how he's been making it is just receiving demo production beats, beat makers. He didn't want that. He wanted the experience of someone that could coach him, give him advice about his vocal performance, songwriting, composition of music, and it just excited me that he felt that way, Dave. From where we come from, it's very rare you see anyone who's open. Yeah. They usually are comfortable with a microwave or fast food way of making music.
Yeah, really.
That's true.
But it's something, they running into a dead wall and they keep bringing my music in the midst of their celebration of life, rather than in the club or driving down the street or going to handle their business. My music still travels with them in their heart, and it's always like, wow, I don't feel Battlecat's sound is finished. And I want to be a part of that DNA of great music he did for our coast. Mm-hmm. So the fact that he had that appreciation for my craft, I wanted to oblige him with the opportunity. And you guys can look for that for the future. I mean,
That's cool.
How does the future of it look to you? Are you encouraged about what you see with hip hop and where it's going, the business, how it's rewarding people? Are you concerned? What's Battlecat's posture?
At one time, I was concerned because I had a time where I had a sit down and I wasn't in demand, and this new wave of sound out of Los Angeles occurred and started brewing. And I understand what that is because when our music came, it did that for
It knocked some people out the box.
It knocked the musicians and legendary artists and producers, in a sense. It kind of put them in a symbol.
Yep.
So I said to myself, I can't dummy down this great sound, and then I'm looking at the culture that doesn't fit as well. But I still had to respect the fact that even with it being secular, that they found a way to be not in jail, still alive, having a good time and celebrating. I couldn't discriminate, but it bothered me because it didn't have any substance and meaning to it. But I had to understand too that there's no school, there's no university, or the DJ Quicks and Battlecats and Dre don't have a school or no book or nothing that they can read or study. You know, it was another thing to study it sonically, but we didn't have anything that they can come and sit with us and be hands-on and get something beyond the surface of what the sound and the music was.
Right.
Because at one time, we was super secular too, you know, doing the same thing, same subject matters and all that. And like Drake said, it was a significant part in his life where he said, I understand that it's cool to turn up because I want to turn up, I want to have a good time, but then it's another time where I'm not feeling that way and I just want to relax and I just want to feel good and be happy about who I love and who I respect and things of those nature. So it's going to be a different sound, a different energy, emotion that goes with that. But it was taken over so cold, in a cold way, where it was a challenge for me. It was like they wanted me to be a part of their journey and coming up. And they got the record deals, and the record companies just following them. So it made it hard for, legends like us to go, okay, well, what we gonna do now since our coast in radio and everything in this industry is not the same. What are we gonna do now?
Yep.
So I did have that urgency.
I call it. No, I'm feeling you because you and I've talked about this. I call it legenditis.
What a perfect word.
You're recognized what you did in the past and people really respect it.
Title rather.
But your path isn't clear and you got to figure out your new path. I think this show is partially that. Do you know what I mean? Like you got to stay at it somehow, but you have to take time to figure out what your at it is.
Yeah, I know I said I was gonna make it short, but it was so incredible because it just let me know in the works that I have, I really got to put this book out. I really got to do a documentary, and I do have to bring some educational classes to the table so our younger generation and the generation that already exists can see that it's hope in bringing a generation. I mean, bridging the gap of us in music, and it's getting a lot better. I don't have the concerns like I used to because YG played me a song where he is being enlightened about how the industry is. And from what his first record was, which was a sexual record about, getting a girl, hitting it, quit it, to now having some substance, I can appreciate that now. And I can, and I learned to not just let go and not judge the book by its cover and let them have their divine time and finding themselves. So that's happening a lot, and there's a lot of awareness where people can appreciate it now.
So you feel good about it?
Yeah, I feel great about music.
Now, I want to see if you feel good about this, because you, Mr. Batter's Box, you ready? You look really...
ready? Sorry.
You are the most hardcore hood rat I've ever seen.
No, I am completely the opposite. I got friends for that.
Oh my God, you guys is crazy.
Do your West Side thing again with do that.
I have to practice it.
See, that's how hood you are.
Yeah, he got it right though. See, at least he took the time.
No, I did it like this. I got a picture. I got a picture of me and Cube. I got a picture of me and Cube where I'm doing it like this, and Cube's
But it
giving it
looks
a
a little
look.
bit like a brain incident when he's doing
If
it.
there'd have been Photoshop back then, he'd have Photoshopped himself out of the picture. It was embarrassing.
You guys is hard
to
on
me.
each
Right
other.
on, brother.
But I do it because
Did you tell him about your 5% thing?
I'm a guest in that world, and I
Did you tell him about
respectfully.
your 5% thing?
Oh wow.
No, we
With Brand Nubian, you know me?
Can I just tell him really quickly?
Yeah.
So Dave calls me one day, and usually when I call, we talk a couple times a day.
This is embarrassing.
He'll say, "Hey, Herb, what's up?" And I say,
Wait a
"Hey,
minute. I apologize to all the community we're about to insult.
Dave." Completely. So he calls
Come on, let's
me.
hear.
He calls me one day, and he goes, "What's up, brother?" Yeah, I was like,
Assalamu alaikum.
oh, "No, not yet."
Oh, not yet?
No. So I look at my phone to make sure it's Dave Pensado, and it is. And I said, "Hey, man, what's happening?" He's like, "What's up, bruh?" I was like, what's going on here? And so finally, as he gets through his moment of blackness, he explains to me that his sister has taken a DNA test.
Oh wow.
And he is 5% black. And so he's going to present that 5% black to me over and over and over. So then he goes, "Assalamu alaikum." And I said, "Wait, you didn't even get it right. Like you didn't even get it right." So I answered him properly, and we spent about 20 minutes. So then the next time I saw him, pants were down low.
Come on.
Afro picked out, tanning butter, the whole. So when in doubt,
Okay, the tanning butter.
we're gonna. So brother Dave, are you ready with Batter's Box?
Right on, bro.
Right on, brother.
Right
Just
on.
hit him back, man. All right, let's roll it. Hit it.
Okay, snares.
Lug win.
Bass.
Mini move.
Ooh, he's got bass speed. I think bass speed too is coming. Bass range.
1200 or MPC 60.
Both.
Oh, good answer.
Swear I knew that was going to be the answer.
Good answer.
East Coast.
West.
Stereo bus.
SSL.
Loops.
Battlecat.
Reverb.
XPX 90.
Enough said.
Good work, my brother. Dre. I'm dead, aren't
No.
I? Okay, Dre.
Respect.
Mini Moog.
Best machine. Best keyboard I could ever come across ever to describe Battlecat's bass line.
If your studio caught fire, what one piece of gear would you rescue?
My Bible.
I can't compete with that, Herb.
Good night.
Damn, that was the best. Really.
We all came up together.
Yes.
We were working different sides of the fence, but we came together musically a number of times. I think for both of us, the respect has been from day one, but it started with who you are as a human.
Thank you.
And then it happened to be music after that. It continues to be who you are as a human and continues to be music.
Thank you.
We actually won an award at the same time.
Yes.
And the people who gave us the award forgot to order steps for the stage. So we had to climb up the couch.
On the couch,
Up and
man.
get to- It's R&B, man. It's a whole other thing. We love you, man.
Thank you, man.
What you mean to the community and who you are as a human and what you mean to the musical community.
Oh, uncles. My
Amazing.
uncles.
And
You see the race?
I would say brothers.
Get along.
All three of us. Dave, take us home.
Well, sometimes I forget, and I recently forgot. I got involved in my own self, and I was talking with Battlecat a little bit earlier, and it's good to go back and see friends and get rejuvenated and get that energy back and that spirit and center yourself. I was getting a little off course in the last few weeks, and just one sentence from him got me back on course, and that's what friends are for, you know. We don't talk all the time, but we definitely communicate all the time.
Yes,
you know?
always.
And we should talk more.
Oh yeah, this
I think
Pensado's
so,
Place juice is bomb. By the way, come and get you some.
There you go.
But I think about the greatness that we've been around. You know, Dre and Quick and Quick and Dre and Corrupt and Nate and Warren and what a great community to come along with and to be a part of and to be a guest in that world. And I'm so thankful for those experiences that you guys gave me. So I'll always be respectful for that.
Thank you for having us, man.
We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.